Welcome to the Inner Fire Time, the show with myself, Alexandra, and Joanna. We are here again back at the European School of Economics, where we talk to our guests about the various topics of well-being, health-related, mind wellness-related stories.
So yes, we are bringing stories of people who lives change at the moment they turn the inner fire on. And today we have a very, very special guest, Moni Rodriguez. She's a speaker, writer of a women leadership coach. Mm-hmm. So she will tell us more. So welcome.
Thank you so much for
having you.
Me. Yeah, thank you.
Pleasure to have you,
Anna. It's very exciting to be here.
Pleasure to have you. It's this show is for us to share stories of people like yourself who are people living normal lives, everyday type of people. You're not necessarily teachers or trainers or someone who's been studying personal development or well-being for many, many years, but people who live in the way that they want to become a change that they want to see in their life, and they do something about it. And you are this example, because hearing your story from someone who first moved to England from Spain, became very successful in the corporate career that came with the price of very little time for yourself, and to finding yourself being experiencing high levels of anxiety and stress, and until the moment when you were no longer happy, and it showed in the physical lack of health, panic attacks and elements like that, to almost breaking point when finally your soul was craving something different. Give me the freedom of being who I am. How? Tell us, share the story. What was your life like? And because many people, especially we in London, and London is a very, very busy place. Many people are focused on work, probably work too many hours. Anxiety, in fact, is one of the key problems, the major problems in the UK, but especially in London. So your story with this it's common, I think. It's something that we struggle with.
I think it's something, yes, we all can relate it to, like working busy, work, and you just sort of forget about keeping balanced life in terms of health, how to eat properly, how to stay focused on just the normal, natural.
Until you get ill. Yes. And people get ill, and it's like, wow, what happened? What was your wake-up call?
Wow, it was 7 years ago, and it was when I moved here. I was very excited because I was starting a consulting career, but straightforward, as you mentioned, London, the underground, the habits of eating in front of your desk. I come from a very male-dominated environment, the IT, where it's very competitive in the sense of projects where you don't necessarily have a 9 to 5. It's based on the projects. And at that time I had a lot of work, and I thought I needed to prove myself a lot to show that I'm actually good enough. And what happened is you start kind of, environment is very powerful, and I always say this, so for the good or for the bad, I was following the habits unconsciously. I think for me the realization is now I'm conscious, I'm aware at that point of time. So I left Barcelona in 2010. I moved to Ireland for 3 years, but then I moved to the UK, and that point of time for me was like totally a shift on how I was living life. I started to have like 5-6 coffees a day with this idea, I need more energy, so I will start having the coffee. I will just exactly. And then here it's like everyone in the underground. I'm not saying unkind, but pushing, rushing, money. Every day the same rat race. So I was not aware because I just started the job very straight with a lot of projects, and I was following whatever everyone else was doing. So I come from Spain, Barcelona, where you not very well. We like to eat, and we like to eat well, and we take lunch breaks. And here is like, I'm taking a sandwich, and I'm in front of the computer. I don't even take breaks. And for me, that was not something that was suitable for my body, for my energy. And probably I was following autopilot every day, 9 o'clock. I will reach the office, I will leave very late. And slowly, but also at the same time, very powerfully, my entire life started to shift. And I was not feeling that sense of joy. I'm a very positive person, passionate, and I was definitely passionate about the work, but I started to feel toxicity around in terms of the mindset as well, and I believe that we all have the power to shift. At that moment, at the beginning, I was not really much taking my power. I was unconscious yet, but what happened is, fast forward in 2014, after 3 years in the position, I went to Barcelona to a project in Spain, and it was like 12 hours work, 4 hours drive back to the airport, catch the airplane at 1 o'clock in the morning, so something crazy, eating very badly, and I was like, oh my God, I'm exhausted, and I was feeling this sense of, I want to break free. I cannot do this anymore. I remember my boss, he was telling the client, oh, she will do this and she will do that. Mm-hmm. And deep inside, I was like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. This doesn't fulfill my soul. I think maybe for like a short
time is fine, because we all like, okay, I make good money, and that keeps you going. But at the end of the day.
But at some point, and I was living in the hospital, I was telling you that I saw a sign in the wall, and it was like, there was a huge art in the wall in the hospital where I was doing this project, and it was a big cage, and inside the cage there were butterflies, but the butterflies were about to escape, but they were still there, trapped, and I was feeling, I'm those butterflies, I'm breaking free. And I remember telling my boss, like, this speaks to me very much, and he said, yeah, our company gave that to the hospital. So I remember being in the airplane and being like, this is it, I need to do something about it. And at that moment I started to feel a lot of anxiety, panic about the flight taking off. It never happened to me, but I think I was so exhausted, I was so much my soul crying, that I believe if you don't listen to your inner voice, at some point it manifests in your body. So I heard stories of all kinds with people I work with as well, but for me it was like, all right, I know what it feels to be about to die, and this is a clear message.
So was that the shift?
Yes, that was the moment. I always mention that moment because it was like, enough is enough. Mm-hmm. And funny enough, after 2 months, I attracted another work, working from home, but still I started to do a bit of, being in the personal journey since the moment I put my feet on here in London. Even if I had this very hectic lifestyle, I was training on healing modalities. I was exploring myself until that point when I shifted my career in a way that I started to help women to overcome these challenges. So I started to eat consciously, doing more of an effort not to have these cravings for coffee. And also the most important thing was about the mindset for me as well, to believe that I had a choice that day. I believed that I had a choice, and that there was something I was seeking that needed to be found. And I found myself, fast forward after a few years into this, almost it will be 3.5 years, that I decided to be starting the journey of mentoring, working with women. And the most important shift was in 2016 in November, where this second job that came to me really was not speaking to me, was still consulting, but I was already in that transitional period, and I decided.
It was that before or after you started actually your holistic sort of healing courses?
It was after. So I was juggling both, because sometimes you need to balance.
You quit it.
I was juggling the coaching while I was working on the other job, and then in November 2016, this second job was really even that strongest call for me to say, okay, just jump on it. And I told the universe, like, I surrender. I'm ready inside my heart to start writing. So since I was a child, I always been in IT, but my passion was always writer, journaling, and really connecting heart to heart with people. So the moment I left that job, 3 weeks after, a friend came and said, oh, there is this book collaboration about women and love. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. It's like, you know, when you make a decision, I also feel that the universe supports you. And then
I said before we had a little chat, and actually you said to like universe, okay, I'm ready now, I'm ready for love, I'm ready, open to manifest what I want. And this is that person came up
happened.
with the book.
I can tell you, magic. I believe in magic, and I believe we are. I call myself joy alchemist, and alchemy is all about transforming everything into gold. That's why, you know, this dress represents very much that we are all gold and divine. But you need to claim it, and you need to talk to yourself at the soul level, at the heart level, and say, I deserve this. I always say there is a dream inside you for a reason. So that little child that was dreaming about becoming a writer was that because we all have a gift, and I help women to bring that gift, and I help myself, and I supported myself. I always have mentors, and I do support myself, always keep in the latest things in terms of energy therapy and all the. I would say, I don't like to use the word healing, but it's more about mindset. So I like to merge the spirituality, but also the logical part, like the IT and the creative part of me, the artist or that part of thing. Because I think, why to choose if you can balance both? And I lost my balance in that work. And what happened now, I feel that finally after this journey, that is a continuous journey, I found my place, I found my balance. So I'm freelancing for that company that I quit for starters, because I believe that I needed to experience that from a different perspective and realize that I was the creator of my stress. It was not the company, but also it was about aligning with what makes your heart sing, you know, that joy, right? I'm a joy alchemist, but I feel when your heart is not singing, it's like something is out of alignment. So then you have to sit in silence and ask yourself, is it all about money, or what am I seeking, right? Until you unlock that key, and then you find the treasure inside. And for me, I found my treasure, which was the passion for writing, the love that I have for women and supporting them, and women's equality, and I will keep doing this journey. So far, in 1 year, I wrote 4 book collaborations. I'm writing my first book now, and I say all these things because I feel like we are all leaders, and as an example, like you say, you ignite that fire. So I say, ignite your inner power, and you take that fire, and then no one can stop you, because fire is passion, right? So once you are in that, I feel you can achieve everything. And I truly believe it, because I manifested these things for myself, and that's what I see any one of us can do. But obviously it's making that decision that day in the airplane, or maybe before. And
then you keep the inner fire on.
And you keep the fire, because once you ignite the fire, there's no way back, because you know that you can achieve things. But I think belief is so important, because if that day I told myself, no, I don't have a choice to exit this cage, I will be still in the cage. So last week I told you I was in a project in another hospital, and I saw these butterflies on the wall. Like, I saw another wall with butterflies, and I was like, this is a joke from the universe. But it was like amazing, and it was yes, I don't know. I see butterflies everywhere, but this time it was like in another hospital, and it was full of free butterflies and a heart, and it was saying the gift of life. And I was like, this is a message. And I was celebrating myself, because it's like, you see, we all have the choice. So if you feel, so my kind of feeling is like, I ask always, you know you are in the right path if you feel like a butterfly flying free on the fields. If there is anything in you that says, I feel like a cage, in a cage, and I don't have exit, or I don't have an alternative, then it's time to really look support yourself with people that inspires you. So that's why I say environment is very, very powerful. I started to go into this courses while I was stressed and burnout because I was looking for support. And then once you support yourself, as an example, you can support others. So I always support women who are maybe few steps back to where I was, because that's the best example, right?
Yeah, lift others up. You know, when you know how it feels when you're already like a few steps ahead.
Yeah.
It's a couple of interesting things that stand out in your story is that awakening that you had on plane, and the decision you made didn't necessarily mean that you had to cut yourself, burn the bridges and say goodbye to the corporate world.
Yes.
You managed to follow your passion, that fire from within you that was there, but it wasn't big.
Correct.
It was big when you were little.
Yes.
Writing, and of course you support yourself with the spiritual work. But in the same time, you kept the corporate world because you enjoy IT as well.
Yes.
And this interesting fact is you obviously must have cut hours because now you're freelancing, not full-time, not working 20 hours a day. But it doesn't mean that your work, professional life is in any way worse. And I remember you mentioned that they actually pay me even more now than before.
Yeah, because it's I always say what you project inside, everything, and this is truly, I've seen it in my life constantly. It's a direct projection of how you feel. If you feel worthy of more, the universe will provide. If you feel worthy of certain, same with abuse, in abusive situations with people, or I know it sounds strange, but sometimes when the realization came to me that it was not the work, it was me, because I saw other people that didn't experience the stress, right? So it's not the work, it's maybe something in the work that doesn't make me feel that fire, this alignment, but it's also the mindset I was having, and also if you can still do your job because I don't believe in like just quitting, that's it. There is something that you need to balance, but maybe you can find your passions during the weekends or cut work hours, and then you will find a way to make it possible. But you are right, because I feel sometimes we tend to think, you need to shift your life. It's just all or nothing, and there was a moment when I quit the job, but I did some planning, and I came back, and that was a very good example of how now I'm doing the same work with more experience, but this inner work that I did on loving myself, on the confidence, the true confidence, or this kind of inner peace that you have, it comes from inside, from knowing that you are safe.
And plus, I think I would say you decided like, okay, I'm doing my journey, my spiritual, my coaching, and then you actually wanted to keep a job and doing something like this. So you made this decision. Whereas I think more, I don't know if you agree, but lots of people will be like, oh, that means I need to give up in this job, and maybe if I want to go back to it, they might don't like it because I said no, I'm leaving.
Yes,
it's it's sort of negative thinking, but if you're always thinking positive, and there's a way people feel this way as well. And they might say, okay, I understand, go. And then if anytime you come back, and you might be like, wow, it works. And I think we're afraid of, like we said before, like comfort zone. We're afraid of just making that steps, but it's all in
when
just
you
saying, deciding, right?
When you work with women now and helping them to get the butterflies.
Yes, I love that.
the freedom of being this butterfly, to find the passion that they have, because there's something in every person inside that we want to express in life. What did you find? I mean, how do you do that? What do you advise them to do in order to express themselves fully?
Yeah, so for me, the most important thing when I'm doing mentoring, or I started with coaching, but I call it mentoring because it's not only coaching, it's part of connecting women to their feminine power, the spiritual side, but also the practical side of the mindset, the psychology of it. And every time I see sometimes women looking for answers outside of themselves, always. And it was like this in my work. I used to think the problem is outside. The work is the problem. and I believe there is no problems. It's like you are facing things in life to teach you something. So first of all, if you see everything as a teaching or lesson, or everyone you meet as a teacher or as a lesson, then everything is magical, because then you are always asking yourself, how did I create this? How did I manifest this? And it's again, it goes back to you. And I always say, I'm here to guide or to share my experience. So with my experience, if you resonate with it, then it's helping you. But ultimately, you know the answer. I always say, you know the answer. It might take, I don't know, 7 years, like it took me to go full cycle. Or I think we are always evolving. Or it might take you 3 months, like some people build successful businesses in 2 months. What's the difference between people who achieve their dreams and people who are still dreaming? It's just that there was something inside themselves that said, I can do it. So it's a belief.
Because they make the shift
correct.
Than
Yeah, and you believe. So it's self-love. Obviously, I'm always talking about unconditional love. When you have relationships in your sternum based on unconditional love, is because you truly accept yourself unconditionally. Yeah, you have a day that you wake up in the morning and you say, oh, I cannot do this. But I always say, choose love, and we hear this a lot, right? Choose love over fear, but it's a vibration. So it's about being aware. So first, awareness. When I was going for 5-6 coffees a day, I was not very aware. I was like a machine, right? I wake up at the same time. But the moment you bring awareness inside, then you have your power. It's like when you face a situation when someone is not treating you well, you need to ask yourself, how am I allowing this? Because if you keep blaming the other person, you are putting the power on them. You are not choosing you. So when you choose yourself in the work, okay, I'm not happy in this work. What can I do to shift it? I believe, I always say heroes and victims. I believe we are all heroes, but also we can go into the victim mode. And you know, when you are in a work, everyone is complaining, then you are a victim because it feels like, oh, I don't have a choice. But if you say, no, I actually have a choice to get out of that cage and fly wherever I want. But for women, it's like, believe. I believe in you. I always believe in everyone that crosses my path, because we are all infinite and we have infinite potential. But you need to believe that you have the power. Because if you don't believe, it's like, don't believe in magic, you don't believe in miracles, miracles won't happen in your life because you are not able to see beyond.
And also when you don't believe in you,
yes,
then other people won't believe in you either.
Exactly.
And this is something to do with, you know, you might have a goal. For example, like you want to be a writer, you want to write a book, and when you have such a powerful, strong desire about this, and you see that you can already see yourself having this book.
Correct.
I can imagine you every time you go to talk about this with anyone, you have this energy around you that makes other people say, "Wow, this girl is gonna do it. She has this book in her."
Yes, it's a passion. It's that fire.
So if it comes, if you go to talk now to the book publisher, they will see it in you and say like, "Okay, we have to have this." It's almost like I think it's power of manifesting as well. That you influence.
Yes.
Your energy influences in energy of the other person, the person you talk to, in the way that is aligned with your energy.
Correct. It's all amazing.
Yeah, you're so right.
How will people want to contact you, and how they can do it?
Yes, so at the moment I'm restructuring all the website, but what I am offering, if people goes to monirodriguez.com, which is my website, there is a landing page there. There is still the guide that I wrote about how to live a divine, rich and free life. I'm all about living life with joy and living with passion. So I talk about lead with joy and live with passion, and that passion is the fire. So if you want to download this in my website, it's for free, and then I will take you into 3 steps for aligning a bit more yourself into that.
We'll do that, and hopefully we can talk more about this in our live part of this episode.
Of course.
With all of you joining us, the audience, for questions and answers. So
that
when
would
you heard
be
them,
great.
yes, we absolutely will do that. So I think thank you for this talk.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me.
We will continue on live chat with you and with you.
With you. See on the other side, the life part.
I love it. And ignite your inner fire.
Absolutely.